Have you ever wondered about the profound impact of man-made disasters on our world? From the depths of the ocean to the vast expanses of our atmosphere, these catastrophic events, often born from human error or negligence, have left indelible scars on our planet. They have shaped history, altered landscapes, and impacted countless lives in unimaginable ways. Today we journey through time, unearthing the stories behind some of the most devastating man-made disasters. Let's delve into the past and explore these disastrous events in chronological order. Our journey begins in 1889 with the Johnstown Flood, a calamity caused by a dam failure in Pennsylvania. The South Fork Dam, an earthen structure of substantial proportions, was all that stood between the bustling city of Johnstown and the vast Lake Conemaugh. Despite warnings of potential structural failure, the dam was left largely unattended. A heavy downpour proved too much for the neglected dam, and it gave way. The resulting flood was of biblical proportions, a 20-foot-high wall of water and debris that swept through Johnstown with deadly force. Over 2,200 lives were lost in the deluge, with countless homes and businesses washed away in mere minutes. The flood remains one of the deadliest disasters in American history, a tragic tale of oversight and neglect. It left a deep scar on the American psyche and pushed for significant changes in dam safety. The Johnstown Flood was a stark reminder of the potential consequences of neglected infrastructure. Moving forward to 1917, we witnessed the Halifax Explosion, one of the largest non-nuclear man-made explosions ever. This catastrophic event unfolded in the harbor of Halifax, Nova Scotia, when two ships, the Mont Blanc, a French cargo vessel laden with high explosives, and the Norwegian vessel Imo collided. The subsequent explosion was so immense that it obliterated structures within a half-mile radius, leading to widespread devastation. The aftermath was equally disastrous, with a death toll exceeding 1,800 and around 9,000 injured. The city lay in ruins, with more than 6,000 homes destroyed, leaving 25,000 people without shelter during the harsh Canadian winter. The disaster also triggered a tsunami in the harbor and a pressure wave of air that snapped trees, bent iron rails, and shattered windows miles away. The Halifax explosion served as a tragic lesson on the dangers of transporting hazardous materials, highlighting the importance of safety measures in preventing such devastating incidents. In 1952, the Great Smog of London, a severe air pollution event, choked the city for 5 days. Swirling around the bustling city, an ominous yellow-black fog descended, blotting out the sun and reducing visibility to a few feet. The culprit? The heavy reliance on coal burning for heating and power in the post-war period. As the lethal fog thickened, London's life slowed to a crawl. Hospitals were swamped with patients suffering from respiratory distress. The smog was so dense, even indoor air became hazardous. The city was in the grip of a silent, invisible killer. When the fog finally lifted, it left in its wake a chilling toll. An estimated 12,000 people had lost their lives prematurely, with many more suffering from long-term health effects. The Great Smog of London was a sobering catastrophe, a stark reminder of the lethal effects of air pollution. It forced the world to confront the deadly consequences of industrialization without environmental consideration. The Great Smog was a wake-up call to the lethal effects of air pollution. In 1986, the world was shaken by the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, the worst nuclear power plant accident in history. On a fateful day in late April, a routine safety test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Soviet Ukraine went horribly wrong. A reactor design flaw, compounded by critical operator errors, resulted in a catastrophic explosion and subsequent fires, releasing large amounts of radioactive materials into the environment. The immediate aftermath was devastating, with dozens of direct fatalities and the evacuation of thousands from their homes. But the long-term consequences have been even more profound. The lingering radioactive contamination has rendered vast swaths of land uninhabitable, displaced countless individuals, and resulted in numerous health issues, including a significant increase in cancer rates among those exposed. The disaster underscored the immense risks associated with nuclear power, leading to sweeping changes in safety protocols and renewed debates about the role of nuclear energy in our world. Chernobyl remains a haunting testament to the potential dangers of nuclear power. 2 years prior to Chernobyl, in 1984, we saw the Bal Gas Tragedy, one of the world's worst industrial disasters. It happened in the heart of India, in a city known as Bhopal. The culprit? A pesticide plant owned by Union Carbide Corporation. In the dead of night, a lethal gas called methyl isocyanate leaked from the plant and spread into the surrounding neighborhoods. The gas was so toxic people were suffocated in their sleep, and those who woke up found themselves in a cloud of death. The aftermath was devastating. An estimated 15,000 people lost their lives, and hundreds of thousands suffered lifelong health complications. The city of Bhopal was forever scarred by this horrific incident. To this day, the Bal Gas Tragedy stands as a stark reminder of the potential dangers of industrialization without adequate safety measures. The Bal Gas Tragedy underscored the need for stringent industrial safety regulations. Fast forward to 2010, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill became the largest marine oil spill in history. On April 20th, a catastrophic explosion erupted on the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig stationed in the Gulf of Mexico. This fatal explosion caused the rig to sink and resulted in the tragic loss of 11 lives. But the disaster didn't end there. Oil gushed unrestrained from the sea floor for a staggering 87 days, releasing an estimated 4.9 million barrels of oil into the ocean. The aftermath was devastating. The spill caused extensive environmental damage, with marine and wildlife habitats severely affected. The repercussions extended to the local communities too, as livelihoods dependent on fishing and tourism were disrupted. The disaster's impact was felt far and wide, causing lasting damage that is still being addressed today. The Deepwater Horizon disaster highlighted the environmental risks of offshore drilling. In 2011, the Fukushima nuclear disaster became the second worst nuclear accident in history. A devastating earthquake off the coast of Japan triggered a powerful tsunami, setting off a chain reaction of catastrophic events at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The tsunami's colossal waves overpowered the plant's seawall, flooding the facility and causing critical equipment failures. With cooling systems knocked offline, 3 of the plant's 6 reactors melted down, releasing radioactive materials into the surrounding environment. The impact was severe, contaminating large areas of land, poisoning water sources, and devastating local wildlife. The disaster also caused a large-scale displacement of populations, with tens of thousands of residents forced to evacuate their homes, many of whom are still unable to return. The Fukushima disaster served as a stark reminder of the potential dangers inherent in nuclear power, highlighting the importance of robust and resilient design in nuclear facilities. It underscored the need for strict safety measures and rigorous emergency preparedness. Fukushima emphasized the need for resilient design in nuclear power plants. These man-made disasters, each devastating in its own right, shares a common thread: they were all preventable. From the Johnstown Flood of the late 19th century to the more recent Fukushima nuclear disaster, every catastrophe we've explored today is a stark testament to the destructive potential of human error, negligence, or oversight. These events underline the dire need for responsible human action. They remind us that our ambitions and innovations must always be tempered with caution and respect for the natural world. We've seen how actions driven by short-term gains or ignorance of potential consequences can lead to long-lasting, sometimes irreversible, damage. Perhaps the most critical takeaway from these disasters is the importance of stringent safety regulations. The absence or disregard of such precautions have often been the catalyst for these tragedies. Implementing and enforcing robust safety measures is not a mere formality, but a necessity that can mean the difference between preservation and devastation. Equally vital is the need for resilient designs. As we push the boundaries of technology and infrastructure, we must also ensure that they can withstand unforeseen circumstances and extreme conditions. Our creations should not only serve us but also safeguard us. Let us remember these disasters not just for their devastation, but for the lessons they offer in our continuous strive towards a safer world. May we learn from our past, act responsibly in the present, and build a more secure future for all.